Hello and welcome, race fans. Monday night here. I am Aquataddy here in the booth for tonight. We are racing the B Slider Series. They're going to Kentucky. This is a double points night. In the booth with me tonight, I have Nick Champ.
How y'all doing?
We also have Jacob making his first appearance in the booth. He is stepped away right now, but you'll be hearing him talking here in just a few minutes. That's one of the GTR boys finally going to hop in the booth other than Mike. I'm not your normal broadcaster here on Mondays. Unfortunately, Denkate had something going on, so he was unable to be there. So you get to hear my ugly voice the remainder of the evening as far as this race is concerned. So we're going to get ready and send this race right now. Sorry for the slight delay, 2-minute delay on race time. But 16 drivers getting ready to go 134 laps. Stages are on. We have cautions, black flags. You can see it all 2 times wear. And like I said, double points night. So it should be pretty exciting. What do you think, Nick? Nick?
I'm sorry. That was my bad. My controller. So go ahead. Go ahead again.
You can accept your invite. And then while we're accepting, I'll talk to you, right? Because I got a blue screen to do that. So what I was saying is it's double point night. We're going to have 16 guys out there. Should be a pretty good race, right?
Oh, most definitely. And, the key thing is, it's Kentucky, it's like Atlanta. It's like every other track like this. And it chews up tires, it chews up fuel. And you mentioned double points. It's going to be a fun race. It's going to be a hell of an event. And we'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, it's really going to be interesting. Like, it's a good way to start rivalries right out the gate on the season. So a lot of leagues will do double points nights, but they tend to be, week 4, 5, 6, something like that. This is only week 2 for these guys. They just last week got accustomed to racing with each other, and then come the end of these stages and the race, should start getting a lot more aggressive than what you'll typically see with these guys, simply because there's more points on the line. Even finishing 10th in a stage is now worth 2 points instead of 1. So if you can do that in both stages, you get 4 points just for doing that. So it's going to be huge, and only 6 guys won't get stages here. So green flag underway, Fire Slayer, and that number 4 machine is going to be a race leader. That's probably your dad is the 88. Yes, it says Mustard Coupe 924, but that is probably your dad, followed by Long Live the Sauce, Hamilton, Just Ken, last week's winner, Memory, in the number 10. T-Bird out there, Brett the Jet, Spanker, Higgy, Old Guy, T. White, Keith, Butters, Brinkerhoff, and non-qualifier Tackleberry rounds out your field. Back up to the front. Over to you, Nick.
Yep, and coming to lead lap number 1 is the 88, probably your dad, edges out the 4 car, and boy, what you gotta do is get out to a big lead and then have the field all be behind you. We saw in qualifying where, some guys pitted early to get those adjustments, maybe in the early goings, and there's long stages in Kentucky. Stage 1 is a long one, same with stage 2, and then you got like a long third stage, and you gotta make sure you manage those tires. But right now, lead lap number 2 is probably your dad out front.
Yeah, there's going to be lots of laps, plenty of options for these guys to go. What I like about Kentucky here is it's a really unique track on the game, right? So if you get below that yellow line, you can hold it, and it can be fast throughout the corners. However, you're going to start getting really loose. The mid to high side tends to be the preferred lane with the draft once you get going on the slider group, especially. A little different in customs, but on the slider, the mid to high groove, it's actually faster way around the track than the bottom end. So you're kind of seeing these drivers already migrate slightly off that yellow apron. Now, when you're driving by yourself, you can get down all the way to it. But again, you take the risk of either bumping it and shooting up high, or you stay down there too long. It's going to spin you out in front of the rest of the pack. But right now, probably your dad doing a great job holding the field off in that number 88 Hendrick Chevrolet, followed by Fire Slayer there in the 4 car, and T-Bird in the 96 with a good qualifying spot for him.
Yeah, and you mentioned, now look at this. You have the maybe top 6 or 7 who pulled away from the field. And we saw this last week, Aquatez. We saw this at Auto Club where you had the top 10 or top 11, or I'm sorry, the top 10 or something pull away from the rest of the field. And then the back half of the field had their own group. And then, will we see, like, groups of guys working together like we see here with the top maybe 5 or 6 in this position, and then the back half work their way up to the front?
Well, I wouldn't count out the 34 of Hickey. I mean, he might be a little bit rougher at the beginning, but I think he is going to catch this pack. He has finally pulled away from the secondary pack, just a hair. So if he can ever catch this draft and they do battle up here at the top, I would not be surprised to see him up there mixing it up.
Yeah, well, you talk about Higgy out there in YouTube land. We have our first comment of the night. That's William Stockton out there, Bill Martin. He's one of our broadcasters. He said he's cheering for Higgy and Long Live the Sauce. Long Live the Sauce in that number 21 machine. This should be a good one. Of course, the voice you just heard sounded a little different. That is Jacob finally making it here to the booth. Thanks for joining us for, I believe this to be your first time broadcasting with us.
I believe it is, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks, man. And right now, Jacob, last week your TTR buddies were all like, we're gonna find a way to get to the front. Some guys got to the front, some guys didn't. In Kentucky, how long do you think, you're gonna find a way to get past and get to the lead?
Kentucky's one of those long run tracks, in my opinion. Turn 2 is going to be your best or your worst friend. If you can figure out a long run car to keep that thing straight coming off of there, the speed you're going to get down the backstretch is going to kill your opponents to the point where if you can maintain your entry going into 3, then your lap is set. So
Jacob,
we're going to see kind of a long run, more like 15, 20 laps in. If we can keep green, we're going to see the people with the long run cars start to be very contender bound.
Yeah, I like what you just said there, right? So I had mentioned, you weren't here when I had said it, but Kentucky's a really unique speedway. You can run all the way down to the apron, but it'll bump you up high or could spin you out if you're down there too long, right? And so when you have fresh tires, it's okay to go down there. You're going to use your stuff up a little quicker. This is a really hard surface track. But another thing that you'll see when I talked about being able to go to the high side, as the run gets later and later, Jacob just hit on it perfectly. You'll start getting really, really loose on the exit and start losing all your exit speed down that backstretch. So that's when you really want to migrate to the top side of the track, and it'll start saving your equipment, aka your tires and all that stuff, and you'll actually be able to have that better exit speed and not be quite as loose because you don't have as much wheel input in your car.
Exactly. A 10th off the start can be a second at the end. Kentucky is one of those very finicky tracks. That way, you might be running 5th right off the gate and be kind of mad, but then towards the long run, you're going to be passing those guys that are getting real loose coming off that turn.
Yeah, we're seeing 3-wide action here. Hamilton in the 18 M&M's Toyota goes inside the 24 of Spenker, but the guy with the run out of that 3-wide was last week's winner, that number 10 of Memory, right there behind the 00 of Just Ken. But while all that racing is happening, the top 3 are able to get about a 2-car length lead advantage over the rest of the field. As back in the further part, we do still have Higgy separating himself from that second pack, but he's pulling away. But without the draft, it's going to be really hard for him to catch the rest of them. That is Old Guy. I'm not sure what happened to T. White there. He's really off pace, as is Brink, Butters, and someone else there. But Tackleberry and I'm trying to think who's in the 6 car. Oh, Brett the Jet in the 6 car.
Yeah, and right now, like you mentioned really well, I was looking back towards the far back in the field. I saw the 17 of T. White. I was like, what in the world happened to him? And, I think we have a car around. It's Old Guy for turn 1. And he keeps this car going, still green. He just rolls it down to the apron, and no caution there, Jacob.
We have the number 4 making a pass for the 88 for, I believe, second place. A Fire Slayer. Looks like he might be trying to take the lead away, but he is going to get shut down. So we have a battle going on for the lead up here with the top 3.
Yeah, Fire Slayer. All 3 of these drivers, I expect to see him up front.
The 4 on the wall.
Whoa, good save.
Now, I, for one, everybody knows my background with T-Bird. We're not exactly the greatest fans on the track, but T-Bird is one hell of a driver. The reason that we're not such a fan of each other is we're always around each other, about the same speed, same pace at most tracks. So when you run around these guys week after week, you start slight contact. One race doesn't seem like much, but when it becomes slight contact 3-4 races in a row simply because you're running around each other, that's where you start finding the issue. But T-Bird, right, he's up front. I expect to see him up front at a lot of these races, and we're starting to see now who has the long run car, right? You spoke about who has the better car as we go deeper and deeper into these stages. The 4 car was battling for the race lead. He ends up getting a little loose, then he catches the wall in the next corner. He's falling to 3rd. Now he's still in the draft, luckily, but that's all that's in that lead pack is those 3. The rest,
we got Long Live the Sauce is in the grass. Something's up with his car there, Ted. He's you mentioned that might be tires. That might be the tire wear that's wearing down. And I think with the tires right now is like, we've ran maybe 10 to 14 laps on these tires, and maybe, just maybe, you're going to have to take maybe some 4 tires very soon. But right now, and we have a battle for the lead once again. This is the battle between T-Bird and probably your dad.
Yeah, and to add in on that, the number 10 of Memory has broken away from the secondary pack and is closing in very fast. So these top 3 keep on battling. It's not to be surprised it's going to be a top 4.
Yeah, one of these drivers that are really unique, right? So hopefully he does well this season, but he won't be able to race on Tuesdays, unfortunately. So he's going to stay in the B group. But that Memory guy, one of the things that I've noticed within the last couple seasons with him is he doesn't build the car for a short run. The car right out the gate, he has a long run setup. And to go with Sauce getting loose the way he did, I'm sure he caught the apron in that scenario. But one of the big things about Kentucky is it is one of those tracks that there's no warning that you're starting to get loose. It's not like lap 1 you're good, lap 12 you're starting to get a little loose, and then lap 20 you're breaking out loose. It's one lap you're good, the next lap you hit the exact same mark, and all of a sudden you're completely sideways before you get to the straightaway. So that's something that these drivers are really going to have to fight with tonight. And for a double points race, Kentucky may be one of the better options for that out there.
Yeah. And it looks like we might have put the broadcaster's curse on the 34 of Higgy, as it might be he caught up with Sauce there, as he is back here driving by himself. It looks like maybe 8th or 9th place.
No, I think actually, so the top 8 is what had originally broken away. So Higgy was in 9th when he broke away from that second pack. I just think that he's still way ahead of them. The rest of them have fallen off. But this is the difference that you're seeing here with that 34 car of that front pack had draft. He hasn't had any draft. If you're following him, you can still see he's catching just getting them.
I do say that, the only reason why I do say that, Teddy, is that the 21 of Sauce that was on pit road is not but 20 car lengths behind him. So it makes me think that something might have happened to him, or else he would have been a lot further.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he had to check up when he seen Sauce doing that, like I'm sure he might have lost a little bit of time, but overall, I mean, to what I'm seeing, right, it looks like he's still actually catching that lead pack, or that, that secondary pack as I'm riding along with him.
Oh, we got a spinner. The 41 has hit the apron, and T. White in 17 is caught him. Caution is out. Coming out of turn 2. Caution is out.
Put it out, put it out, put it out.
Now, I did want to ask both of you. I was going to say, when were we going to see the first round of green flag stops? But then, well, here you go. I mean, now what do you do, Jacob, in this scenario? Do you tighten it, or are you losing your car up depending on your slider?
Man, I think you.
I don't think you can loosen it up ever here.
Yeah, I think you want to go for the long run. I think this caution couldn't have came at a perfect time for these drivers, because I believe that the laps now for your fuel is going to be right at it. So I believe you're going to build it for the long run. So unless another caution comes out, we're going to see these tight cars on the low bars kind of get ahead here in 20 laps.
Yeah, out there in YouTube land, real quick, not to cut anybody off here, but before you guys get going with anything, Denkate now has tuned in and commenting. He's cheering for Memory, and he thanks me for being here. He'll be back next week, as Denkate is your typical Monday broadcaster, and of course, Denkate, that's what I'm here for, CEO. I'm always here to cover if you guys need it. Just let me know in advance, and we're good. This is
back in the year.
Yeah, real quick, this is something that GC Sports actually has copywritten with one of our broadcasters, Puddin. He does it with the Invasion iRacing group too, but we're getting to rack 'em and stack 'em, boys, here in stage 1. T-Bird gets the early lead over the number 4 of Fire Slayer. Don't count any of these drivers out.
The 10 is taking 3 wide here.
Yeah, the 10 of Memory, but a driver that we haven't been seeing up in the top 3 is in the middle of that 3 wide, and that's the 24 of Spanker. He gets loose on exit, catches the side of the 10 car. That's going to gaggle them all up. The 2 drivers that want to see this the most are going to be the 96 and the 4s. They're going to be able to pull away a couple car lengths. Note to self and everyone out there, the driver that this is going to actually benefit the absolute most is going to be the 21 of Long Live the Sauce, as now because of the caution, he's going to be able to back up and get into the draft and possibly contend for the race lead here again, as well as Higgy, who we've seen have a lot of speed back there in that 34, is now in the lead pack.
Yeah, right, the top 4, especially the top 4 are the same 4 before the caution. Now let's see if we can get anybody else up in there. They are still 2 wide entering turn 1.
Out there in YouTube, Denkate, that's Jacob. Sorry, go ahead. Back to you, Jacob.
That's pretty much it. I mean, pretty good racing all around right now. Pretty clean racing. A great group of drivers. The 4 is trying to take the lead away here, going down low. We're going to see if he can complete it coming out of the turn. He will not, as the 10 is there and is trying to compete on the 88 for third place.
Yeah, I think the driver that had the best run right there actually was the 10, right? So the 88 and the 4 were both trying to go to the low side on the 96. We talked about the run that you can get on the outside, and the 96 and 10 both had that going for him. Unfortunately for the 10, he then tried to go back down low and probably had to lift. But, man, this is great action up here in the B group. And one of the best things about, right, so now we've had pit stops. It wasn't green flag stops, which is actually even more beneficial because when you have a caution flag, you get about 30 seconds to be able to put your setups in, whereas under a green flag pit stop, you only have about 10 seconds, right? So these guys are able to put their full race setup in now. So we should start seeing better long-run cars than what we did before. But at the same time, did somebody build for a short run expecting to see more and more cautions, or are they going for the long run? I'm expecting it to go long run.
Like the other end of the field, for last, we have one heck of a dang battle going on back here with GTR Butters taking off last place. We have Spinner on the back stretch. GTR Butters is round below the apron.
Talk about a
I
broadcast
don't believe
curse.
if the caution has came out yet.
I don't think there will be a caution. There was only one car.
GTR Butters has left. He has left the race.
I think he tried to. I think he tried to go in reverse, and you know how the lobby is. It just kicks you right out, and there you see. And we have a battle for the lead, gentlemen.
Yeah, I agree with Jacob on that one. I think that he did not back out. I think he actually got kicked out for going backwards. Out there on YouTube, thank you to Tiller for tuning in. He's cheering for, oh my God. He said, I got T-Bird winning this one as bad as I hate to say it. Tiller, that's like potty mouth here in our broadcast. Cheering for T-Bird is potty mouth. Den
Well,
Kate
he might
says that
have the
won't happen.
competition as the 10 is taking second place away. But he is moving steadily up this field. He's going to be coming with the 88 here.
Yeah, probably your dad doing a good job getting the lead in this. Now, last season, probably your dad actually did come back. He qualified for the A group, but decided he wanted to run it in the B group with Spenker and Old Guy being his friends, right? Probably your dad was one of the top 3 finishers in points last season in the B group. So, again, we talk about front runners, right? This whole pack of 8-9 cars, I can't look at one of their names and tell you that I didn't expect them to see them up front.
Oh,
This is
in the wall.
this is a pretty stacked and stout group.
Side by side back here for 5th place. Great action going on tonight. Kentucky produces some of the best racing during the seasons. We've seen some of the best finishes in real NASCAR at this place. And one of my favorite places to drive, hands down. Great battle going on back here for 5th place.
Yeah, 96 inside the 00. That's T-Bird and Just Ken. Just Ken really needing to bounce back after having a really bad finish to the week last week. Him and Fire Slayer got into it a little bit, caused both those cars to end up in the back and not be too happy with each other. So running in the top 8 or 9, you know, this actually seems good, but this is half the field. There's 16 cars out there, right? So you can't just finish 8th to 9th in these stages. You have to get up there and you have to finish in the top 5 if you're trying to bounce back like Just Ken needs to be. When you have drivers like Sauce, you have Memory winning the race last week. You have probably your dad in the lead now. These guys all got good points last week. Just Ken did not, but he's the champion from last season in the C group. So I expect to see him up in the top 5, 6 at the end of the point season this season, but only time will tell.
And as you see right now, long with the Sauce just got behind the 34 of Higgy right now. You know, having the draft I think is a good thing, because once you have that big gap, like let's say you have a run on someone, that means you can make that great move, and then you'd be like, all right, I know where I gotta make my move now. But you know, good racing, all hands down right now.
Yeah, listen, they talk a lot about friendships in racing, right? Friendships paying dividends. Long live the Sauce, Higgy, even Fire Slayer up here. These guys are fairly new, not only to like GC Sports, but even back when it was Giggity or when it was Cringe, right? These 3 drivers are all fairly new. Jacob, you're also in kind of this new boat, right? However, these 3 race together, that Friday league, you know, Cobra Kai Racing, they all run together there for a couple of years now. So expect those 3 to try to hook up whenever possible. And at a track like Kentucky, having friends is always going to be important.
Yeah, and as you say that, the 10 looks like he's starting to get loose. He's glitching really bad here.
He's getting loose.
Really bad here. We're going to see if it might bring out a caution if he can get into somebody. But to add is what you said earlier, Teddy, the 21 of Sauce has definitely benefited the absolute most from that caution. As he is now riding back here, they caught up to your race leaders there, but then the 10 with a little lag issue has caused some separation. So we're going to see if it's a 34 and the 21 can capitalize on that caution break and see if they can catch your leaders once again.
You mentioned that really well, and there you see the 24 right now, Spinker running in third. Man, we rarely talked how much about he was doing so well. He was in the back, started I think near the tail end of the field, and he's worked his way up to third. Now, I think if he can get a run, if he catches a caution or the stage break, and he can get up there and try to get up and try to compete for the win.
Listen, we talked about him a lot today, but that number 34 of Higgy is on his way to the front. He has now moved into the third position, but I gotta say, what Fire Slayer's doing up front is impeccable timing and really, really important. He's not trying to make a move on the 88 of Probably Your Dad. He's just riding with him. As long as they have this big gap, it's going to come down to those two for the stage win. Don't forget, a stage win is also a playoff point, right? The 4, by working with the 88 right now, this is good sense on his part. They're eliminating the other 5-6 cars back here. So right now, Fire Slayer's going to hang back here. He's just going to ride in second. Come the last lap, he might make his move. Contact. 24 goes to split the gap in the middle. It ends up getting into the 34 Higgy. He's going to go shoot to the outside and fall to the back of this lead pack. Is now long live the sauce inside that 24 of Spenker. He's trying to take P3, and T-Bird now making a move on the inside. Contact again between the 24 and the 96. The crazy action is happening as they're 3 wide, 2 rows deep. This is crazy. Long live the sauce now on the inside. He goes on the apron as with memory. He's able to hold it, so he still has good tires at this point. The one that got the worst part of that, the 34 of Higgy. Over to you, Jacob.
The number 4 has turned his rearview mirror off. He is looking straight ahead of him as he is chasing down the 88 here for your lead. Great battle going on back here for third. These top 2 have absolutely checked out for now. Smooth on the wheel. It looks like I'm riding along here with the number 4, and they are just smooth as you can get.
The 4 looks to be trying to make a move right there. It looks like he went to the outside of the 88 there. All I can imagine right now is that means we're coming down to 1 to 2 laps to go here on the stage. I don't actually have an answer, and I know there's great racing going on right now for third, but we're going to keep the camera on our race leaders, expecting this to be the end of the stage. 4 is trying to make a move down to the bottom. The 88 is going to come down and make sure that he's unable to get there. Was that the last lap? I can't tell. Are they still up to speed?
They are still up to speed as the 21 has lost third place.
No, they're not up to speed. That was the end of the stage. That was last lap. Okay. Yeah. So again, we talked about it, right? There was no reason for the 4 to make a move until the time came, that last 1 to 2 laps, right? And that's exactly what he did. Really good move by the 4. Unfortunately, he was unable to get the stage win, but really good run by all of those guys.
As we do need a ticker at NASCAR Heat 5, we could keep track of all of these laps for you.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
I mean, usually we get like an in-race reporter. Unfortunately, I didn't get a hold of anyone to ask them to do that for me tonight.
Yeah. As of stage 1 completion, looks like only 1 car has pitted for the race. That'd be the GTR Butters.
Yeah, and he was the one who backed out. And here we go, the 17 of Team White. Here we go, guys. Racking and stacking it, man. Looks like he's going to let the leaders by because I don't think he pitted under. You know, that problem is when you say, oh, I'm going to pit, you know, when the end of the stage, and that glitch is like, oh, no, you don't pit, and you just don't decide to because...
Listen, I'm not going to try to disagree with what you're saying, but I 100% disagree with what you're saying. I, for one, in these races, right, I try to wait until the very last second to have a cigarette or something like that, right? If you're not going to wait until the last second, there's no reason that under a 30-second break you don't go in there and hit X twice after you get your adjustments in. And even if you're not making adjustments or you're waiting until the last second making your adjustments or doing something on the side, there's no excuse not hit X. This is the B group, not staying out, having a pullover. You just cost yourself the race for what is lackadaisical hitting X a second time. That's just silly to me. To each their own. Hopefully he can recover and be a part of this race by the end of it, but he's going to probably need a caution now, or else he's going to end up having a 2-stop stage 2, while everyone else only has to take 1 stop.
Yeah, tough break for the 17. We have all been there a time or two, I do believe, but tough break for the 17. As the 4 of Fire Slayer has taken the lead early on in this stage, to see if he can hold off this 88. This 88 has some speed. He's been looking for an inside line, but the board is just not giving it to him.
Yeah, real quick, Bill out there on
Four in the
YouTube
wall.
said
88
Fire
is going to
Slayer.
make the pass. Going off into turn 3. We will have a new race leader coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, on YouTube, Bill, you said that Fire Slayer is streaming. I don't have his YouTube. If you could maybe share that into the broadcast chat, that would be great. Thank you.
No, awesome.
Dan K, don't get me wrong, everyone's done it once or twice, right? I mean, but there's just no excuse for it. You know, that's something you do when you're doing public lobbies or something like that. When you come into a league race, especially when, you know, T.Y., he had a tough race last week too, right? So he's got to recover. He's got to bounce back. You got to be on your toes. This is a double points night. If it had happened last week, not really that big of an issue, but what you're costing yourself now is not just 2 to 4 points. You're costing yourself twice as many points per position, so it's really going to be hard for that 17 to bounce back if a caution doesn't come and help him out here.
A tough restart for the 34 as he is now back here in what seems to be next to last. I don't know what happened to him. The camera was not on him, but he is not having a good early stage 2. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually not going to worry about that. Higgy is one of those guys. He's a really smart, strategy-sound person, right? So he may have just chose to go to the back. He may have seen something happening up front that he didn't like, a little bit too aggressive. He went to the rear. Save your equipment. We talked about how loose you can get at the end of these runs, right? Well, the best way to stop that from happening is to save your equipment at the beginning of the run, so you have less laps of being so loose or tight or whatever. So the 34 is fast enough. I think he's going to recover for sure. But you also fall into the fact that now you got to pass these guys that are losing the draft back here. So
we have something with the 14. I just caught the last bit of it. Yeah, Binker, something happened to him. I just caught when he was coming on the apron, and something happened. We don't have a confirmation of what happened. Maybe tires, you know. But who knows, you know? I mean, it's in the early runs, you know. Everyone's getting settled in.
Fire Slayer, your early
I did see
leader.
the end of that as well. And it looked like maybe a lag or something because the car was almost completely sideways heading up the track, but he could have caught the apron just as well and just not had a good turn there.
Yeah, the 14, I seen a lot of lag coming out of him in qualifying. He actually, Nick, you caught him and ended up getting into a wreck with him in qualifying because he had like a lag issue and he spun out wrecked, and then all of a sudden he was half a track ahead of me again. So hopefully that gets corrected on that 17 or 14 machine. But up front, right, so the 88 is now walking away from the field as your early stage 2 race leader, the number 4 Fire Slayer, stuck on the outside all by himself, is now fallen back to about 8th place now. Not sure what happened other than I think he just ended up on the outside and everyone else kind of car ramrodded down on the bottom and went around him. So unfortunate for Fire Slayer, but again, he's got a lot of speed like Higgy, so I expect to still see him up front the rest of the night.
Yeah, he is one of those drivers that has a lot of good race wit about him. So as long as he can keep that draft, the draft is a good part. And right on 34 of Ty, he needs to keep that draft because Kentucky might be a shorter track, a mile-and-a-half track, but the draft is just as important here. You know, it might be a real flat racing surface, but the backstretch draft needs to happen here, at least in the gameplay. So as long as a 4 can keep that draft as at least the top 5 or 6, as it looks like he's losing most of it now, that's what he needs to still be a contention here for stage 2.
Now, I will say this right now. I don't think we pointed this out, but the Fire Slayer just passed the 7, who's right now currently inside the top 10, Tackleberry. He was in the back. He started dead last, and good run from being last to almost inside the top 10. Good run.
The Fire Slayer might have done something with his car here. He looks a little tight coming out of the turn, so he might have over-adjusted in an aspect or two. So maybe stage 3 or after this stage 2 pit stop, he might pick some more speed back up, as he is battling hard here with the number 7. Yep. Back up to the lead, the 88 is still your race leader, as he has one dominant car tonight. It's going to be hard to catch him. The 4 had something on him as a battle for second place here.
Yeah, I
got the Sauce 21 and the 96. 96 scrapes the wall entering turn 1 as the 10 will pass for 3rd place here, for 4th place. I mean,
yeah, it looks like we're coming to about 25 laps left in the stage. I I don't like what this second pack's doing. I understand that you want to have the advantage and get into second or third, but all of these drivers, right, all five of those cars, the 21, the 96, the 10, the 24, and the 00, they've all shown speed all night, right? So you know that they can go catch the leader, but you're not going to go catch the leader racing side by side. When you're not able to hit your marks because somebody's next to you, you're not going to gain any ground. So what these 5 cars need to do is just simply hook up in line, go nose to tail. And I know broadcast purposes for you viewers at home, you want to see side by side action, right? But if you're the driver and you want to win, you need to work with everyone else and go catch the leader, right? Once you get to the leader and everyone's now back in the same exact pack, then start getting racy again, right? Nobody's walking away from anybody, but as long as that 88's set up front and these guys are racing, look in the back, you've now allowed the 00, the 18, the 4, the 7, all these guys are catching up, and the 88's just getting further and further away.
Yeah, and to add on what you said earlier, a lot of these drivers in GC have raced with each other in multiple leagues over the years, but these between second through fifth here, I don't believe they have. I think GC is the only league that they race together in, so a lot of competitiveness going on and a lot of not willingness to work is due to just simply not being familiar with each other. So they are going to keep battling here. I believe that Sauce is still in second place.
Yeah, to go with what you just said, actually, so out of those 5 drivers, you have 3 of them were in the C group last season, 2 of them were in the B group and just ended up as the bottom drivers that got put back down here. So they haven't even had in GC a season to run all these guys together. Now, Juscan, Hamilton, and Memory and Sauce, they ran together last season. T-Bird and Spenker, they were in the B group, so they're completely new to these guys. As it was, they stayed here. They're trying to, hey, I was already here. Like, you're stepping up into my nature. Well, the C guys are trying to say,
coming out of the 10.
Yeah, I see it
coming
again.
Out of the 10 here. Well, see, he's in the wall with it. See if he might collect somebody. I don't know.
He's aware of it now. I actually reached and got a hold of him during that stage break. So the 10 is aware of his lag. He knows it's happening. He is paying attention to his mirrors for when it's happening. So the 10 is watching out for that. And I think that's why he kind of went to the outside and gave up those couple spots, right? He is still in front of the 24. Hopefully it doesn't keep happening, but he is aware.
As it looks like Sauce has lost second place here. It's going to take the high side. He might lose third.
He's about to lose a bunch of spots.
He might get Fire Slayer here on the outside, as Fire Slayer is trying to come back up. He's caught the drafter for his lead pack. So back on the drafter, that's a very important aspect, as the 34 has none and is still back here by itself. So draft still a big thing here at Kentucky, as we're going to try to see Fire Slayer maybe try to come back and make a move for Race Lucas in this stage.
Now you
Sorry,
can
I'm trying
see
to get a lap count here.
Now you see that the 10 of Memory, we just talking about his lag, and now look, he's back inside the top 3 position. Now he has the 21 of Long with the Sauce and Spanker right there fighting for that spot, but then yet you're letting the 88 pull away, as you mentioned, Aquatay. You're letting the 88 just pull away, man. Just why battle when you can just try to catch the 88? But here's the thing: we're about to come to some green flag pit stops and maybe in a few laps,
Yeah, that they just hit the 19 lap to go mark here, so I'm expecting to see stops here within. Oh, honestly, I'm not really sure, right? So they have about 10 to 15 laps left in the tank. It's 19 laps in the stage of caution, right? So they can't save more than 5, so they have to pit. But you could actually pit with just 5 to go in the stage, or you could try to short pit now. And I'm a big fan. If you're already starting to feel breakout loose in this stage being about 40 laps, there's no harm to go ahead and pull off now and pit and split it right in half. The biggest issue that these drivers are going to have is you really need a draft partner to go with you when you make these pit stops.
Yep, and talk about that. The 34 of Higgy is in. It's the 14 of Brinkerhoff is coming out. The 2 of Keith has now entered his pit stalls. We're starting to see the first round of pit stops. The early
lots of driver. Just
might
have.
have.
I seen Fire Slayer.
Here comes the 4 Fire Slayer. Yep, Memory as well.
Yep.
Here comes the 00.
We're going to see if the early pitters are going to take the advantage, or if the long run 2 tires will keep it going.
So this is what's going to happen, right? I don't think 2 tires is a good stop at a loose track. I think you want 4, even though there's only going to be 5 laps. You're going to have to change your wedge so drastically to stay tight enough. But the guys that just pit, no matter what, when this cycles out, they will have the advantage. They will have the race lead over these guys staying out, simply because of the fact that they're going to be hitting faster lap times with the fresh tires right now, right? Now, if these guys wait until about 10 laps to go and then make their pit stops, they're going to be running twice as fast as those guys when they finally make their stop, right? So, to each their own. Do you want the advantage early in the stage, or do you want the advantage late? And to me personally, I like what these guys are doing as well, because when those guys are in front of me, I want to have the fresh tires that's going to track them down, and when I get there, it's not going to take me long to pass them either.
Here comes the 96. I think T-Bird, well, almost missed pit road, and he makes his stop, and now, right now, that 88 is still the race leader, but yet hasn't made his green flag pit stop.
And to talk about Taddy, the early pitters trying to make that advantage, was at the 34 that was all by himself there after that tail pack has now caught up, or rather made more track time on the 4, as he was a few seconds ahead of him, 1 lap less on tires for the 34. And we're going to see if they can't stick together here, cause some draft, and catch up to this lead pack.
Yeah, no, so if you're the 34, that's a really smart move. Use the stop to get caught back up, right? These guys did luckily pit only 1 lap later, so he's got fresher tires, but because it's only a 1 lap difference, he should at least be able to stay in their draft. Now, he will start breaking out loose a little quicker than these guys do, but the draft will recover him on the straightaways, because they're not going to be running 15 miles an hour faster like you are. The difference of brand new tires, completely old tires, is we're seeing them all go around T-Bird now, and if they're smart, they're going to let T-Bird go ahead and take the front of this line and just try to hang on to his draft. But to each their own. These guys now have 15 laps to go. The race leader has 14, but we will be seeing the 88 come to pit road here shortly. If he hasn't yet, I'm trying to find him on the track. He is not yet, so he has 14 laps to go, coming to 13 to go, but he does still have to make a pit stop there as your race leader. And that second pack still hasn't pit with Sauce in them, but he has a commanding lead over all of them. If I'm those guys, you have to come to pit road now. You're doing nothing. You're not catching the leader on track drafting. You have to come to pit road to try to make up the advantage, but you're losing all that track time to that other group of cars that already pit. So the 88, I think staying out a while for him is going to pan out. That other group of Long Live the Sauce and Spanker and them, I don't see it working well for them at all.
Well, here comes the 21. Looks like he might be diving on the pit road this time there, Taddy. I think, the FP is coming to pit road, so it's,
unless the 88 takes 2 tires here, which I don't believe he will, I think this pack with just Ken, Slayer, the 34 and the 96, I think they're going to be the pack to beat here, as the 96 has taken over that lead pack, or this pack I'm mentioning anyway, as that Fire Slayer will not like to see that, but the 34 of Higgy will, as if this pans out, he will pick up a multitude of positions.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to be honest, I like it, they're being smart. I mentioned that these guys are going to have to just go nose to tail and work together. Of course, as I say that, you guys are seeing it here on the screen. The 00 goes in really hard, clips the 96, going to move him up the track, put the 00 on the apron. Silly move, but all in all, I like that they've been working together basically since they got back out. Of course, now they're racing, but Sauce right now coming off pit road, they're passing him. Sauce still won't be up to speed until he gets to the backstretch, so you're looking at almost half a track difference. These guys are going to have an advantage over that 21 car.
That was a lucky move by the 34, just mind you, to enter that pack with them. That's just great timing by him. He is a very smart driver, so it's not unlike him to see that move.
Yeah, and then you're seeing, right, so they're catching the 7 attack barrier. Now, one thing I did want to mention, I don't know what Memory did for a stop, but Memory has already gotten back around the 88 car, is on the lead lap, and he's pulling away, but he's considerably further ahead than the rest of that other pack. I don't know if maybe he pit even earlier than they did, or I'm seeing it the other way around. Maybe he had a speeding penalty, and he's actually behind those guys.
Sorry to interrupt. We had the leader on pit road of probably your dad. He finally makes his pit stop at stage 2. And boy, I was going to say, I'm going to give him an award, the Dave Ferguson Award, which I will say that is an award where the guy somewhat where everyone else pits, and he's the only one who hasn't pitted. So, I mean, that is so incredible. He stayed out that long with those old tires and the oldest fuel.
Yeah, we're really gonna have to.
Well, he took 2 tires from the look of this pit stop. He only took 2, so we're going to see if this pans out or if this is going to be the thorn in his side.
So the 96 car right now is coming 7 laps to go. I get that the 88 took 2 tires, but 7 laps is a long time to hold these guys off. They should be running at a pace at about 3/4 of a second quicker per lap. I mean, they should really remain quick, but the advantage is right now it's still to the 88 car because I'm not even seeing him on the screen. But he's going to have a hard time handling that car, and this is a long time as he comes to 6 laps to go now. And he's not even your race leader, right? The 24 and the 18 are just now pitting. So lots of different strategies here late in the stage 2 at Kentucky double points night for the B Slider group. Who y'all got as your race winner at this point? I really like, right, so I know we're talking about the end of the stage, but who are you seeing strategy-wise and overall speed-wise as your favorite to win this race?
Really, the 88 has shown complete dominance right now as he is coming into screen as I'm running on board with the 96, and they are catching him considerably. I would peg, I don't know the lap count.
5 laps.
Yeah, I don't know the lap count. Well, I would peg the 88 will win this race, in my opinion, or this stage, if he does not catch a bad break here.
It looks like the 18 also took 2 tires. The way he's coming out and right by the 88 looks like he's also going to take 2 tires. So if it pans out, the 18 would get second. Now the 24, he went to pit road and took 4 fresh tires. He's back there with this other group. I say that maybe he had a horrible entrance and he's only on 2. We'll have to see and see if he's able to keep up with these other 4. But I'm not sure that they're catching him 4 laps to go. This is crazy. These guys are starting to battle. I'm not sure if they just don't think they can catch him or what's going on, but the 96 T-Bird having the freshest tires of that pack of 4, but the 24 Spanker, he had to have taken 4 tires because he's able to stay in the draft. If he only took 2 tires, he'd be really loose already and already losing these guys. So lots of different strategies. I have no idea what's going to happen. As the race leader of the 88 comes to 3 laps to go now with Hamilton just about 3 car lengths behind him.
Yeah,
we don't.
Go ahead, Jake.
Go ahead there. No, go ahead there, Nick.
Well, I was going to say my prediction. I was going to say the 88, but I want to really see how that 4 recovers. You know, this Fire Slayer had not such a good run last week, and you know he's having a struggle tonight here at Kentucky. But I'd like to see him recover and probably get a good stage point, and probably if he catches some breaks, you know, he'll probably be still back up there and probably get that win.
Well, I think he might have fixed his adjustment problem as he is handling a lot better here. He is getting caught up in this battle going on, but still great speed out of this number 4 car. I'd like to see once this restart pans on, like you say, they're going to be backed up bunched together, so anything can happen at that point. But I do believe the 88 will be taking the white flag this time around.
I was one off. They're at 3 right now. They're taking 2 to go right now for the 88 machine. So I don't think the second pack's going to catch them. However, the only reason I think that they're not going to catch him is the 96 moves the 00. That's for P3. I believe the reason that they're not catching the 88 is not because of their strategy, but because they kept racing once they got back out on the track. I really think that if they'd have stayed nose to tail, they would have made up a lot more time. And as we see the 4 go to the outside of the 96, maybe this is the last lap. I'm trying to go off what his stage said. They should be at 2 to go on that.
Scrape the wall here. He will lose some speed going off in here. The 4 has been making this outside stick in some manner all race. So he does have some natural speed here as he will lose the spot to the 24.
I think this is the white flag I want to be.
Yeah, this is
34 Piggy here.
This is
over.
the last lap. Yeah, we're going to stay with this pack right here. There's 5 cars battling it. The 88 is going to get the stage win as long as it doesn't spin. The 18 is there. The 00 moves the 4 car of Fire Slayer. I'm not sure. There's a lot of contact involved in that blue and orange car there. That's going to cost both of them a chance at 3rd, really. That was a silly move. But the 96 is going to be able to hold the rest of them off. He's going to get 3rd place. Spanker in 4th. Higgy in 5th. But your top 2 are going to be probably your dad in the 88 machine and the 18 of Hamilton. You know, we haven't spoken much about Hamilton tonight, but I'm telling you, as we're getting later into the race, he is a car that you need to keep your eyes on. Last season, he led the C group in the most top 5s, top 10s, and wins in the season, yet he finished 2nd in points. Or actually, no, Hamilton won the title last season, right? So we're not even talking about him, but this is how he races. Beginning of the race, he runs about mid-pack or so at best, kind of floats it out, gets a feel for the race. When it's time to go, we always see him up front. And when you want to talk about time to go, it's the opening last lap of stage 3 that we're about to get on this restart, as that was the stage break.
And over to you, Nick. What would you do if you were in that number 4 car right now? You have lost a few spots going off into the finish of stage 2. You're going to be starting in the middle of the backpack. You know you have a great car up underneath you. What would you do to pick up this final win here?
Well, maybe if I was the four car, I would say, okay, well, I gotta find a way to get in this draft. You know, I gotta find a way to pick my way through. If you know I'm gonna have a run, I gotta go high, I gotta go low, and we're about to get back underway. Racking them second, and green flag underway from stage 3, guys.
Yeah, we have probably like 53 laps to go. It was 55 under the caution. Of course, they take a couple laps, and you get 32 to the tank. So these guys are still going to have to make one green flag stop, but 55 laps is a stretch when you get 30 to the tank, right? So especially when you're at a track like this where your tire wear is really bad and makes your car really loose. So are we going to see 2 tire stops, or are we going to see everybody just do one? Another strategy could be played here. But early in stage 3, our race leader is the number 88 of probably your dad, T-Bird, now sitting in second as Hamilton started on the outside and loses some positions. Yep, this is a pretty good battle. We're seeing what we normally see, the 88 pulling away from the rest of the field.
14
memory. Was it? I thought it was the 10 of memory.
10 is on the inside, 14 went all the way to the rear, so I don't know, maybe it was 14.
Yeah, 14 just got thrown in the wall by Keith, you know. I was watching that farther in the back, and boy, I tell you what, you know, here comes the 24 of Spanker, you know. Don't count him out, you know. He had such a good run in stage 2, and, you know, but, you know, it is Kentucky. You never know what happens, and who knows, maybe we'll see an upset winner, you know, like we saw last week where Memory had that, we had that last caution, and the big one happened. He got lucky and survived it.
Alright guys, so while we're in stage 3 and we have all the cars grouped here, whenever I broadcast, I like to do the sounds of racing. So we're going to do, as they get ready to cross the line, we're going to be riding along with T-Bird right now, but let's do a lap around the track up to volume so you guys can hear what they're dealing with the throttle. And that was a lap around Kentucky. You're going to hear these guys where they get lift off the gas really early, but then they're going to get back on the gas right around the apex and try to hold it all the way through. Now, that's the beginning of the run. If we were to do that later on, you're not going to hear nearly as much throttle power as what they're using there through the corners now as these tires start wearing. I'm going to send it over to you, Jacob. What are you watching right now?
Currently watching the 21 of... Gosh, long live the sauce here. Kind of half and half here. Is he going to catch this lead pack, or is this secondary pack going to catch him? Is he is kind of the lone duck here by himself, as Fire Slayer is the tail end of his lead pack, headed by the 88. Tackleberry still mixing it up here in the secondary pack. So he's producing some pretty good racing here, as he might pick up a top 5 if he keeps it up.
Yeah, I'm going to send it over to you, Nick, in just a second, right? But out there in YouTube, we have Butters asking if that's Jacob. Yes, sir, it is. He decided to hop in with us. I'm not sure what's going on. Play a little Fortnite with him, and all of a sudden he'll broadcast. But, Nick, what are you watching on track, and who are you most impressed with? Now, I know your race leaders, right? But outside of your race leaders, your top 3, the guys we've been talking about, who are you most impressed with so far tonight?
I'm either, basically, I'm looking at Higgy right now. I'm watching from him. I'm watching from his hood cam right now. He's running inside the 3rd position, but another guy I'm also watching for is that 24, you know. Some of these guys were at the back of the field, you know. You never saw, like, the guys were, like, far back, maybe in the, like, late 10s, you know, and then you see, oh, you know, here they are inside the top 5. You never know, but like I said before, can we see another upset winner? Can we see another Ford? Can we see a Chevy win? Who knows? But I see Higgy right now gaining behind T-Bird, and he's just trying to close in on the gap with the leaders.
As a 21 of Sauce is catching them now to make it a 6-way battle for the lead as your leaders are just single file here, trying to make some separation, I believe, from the secondary pack, just to take a little bit of burden off of their shoulders as the 88 is getting a move made on by the 96, new race leader potentially entering turn 3.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out real quick to one of the other drivers back here. So in the pack we've talked a lot about Just Cam, we've talked a lot about Memory, we've talked a little about Hamilton, and now you've talked about Tackleberry. But back here, this number 1 of Old Guy. Last week he had a few issues. He spun out a couple times at Auto Club, and they were at Michigan. So he had a really rough week last week, but he's rebounding pretty well. I say that he's just right inside the top 10, but a really quiet, consistent night, and he's running with some of the heavy hitters that we've seen all night long. So good job and good rebound for the race so far for that number 1 machine. And realistically, all you need is top 10s, top 10s, top 10s, is the top 9 drivers in points are the ones that advance to the A group next season. So running 10th, you average a top 9, you're going to have a good season. So right now, Old Guy doing a great job.
Yep, this is a B league with A league talent, that is to say the least.
Yo, yeah. I'm not to like toot the horn of GC here, but a lot of the drivers that you're seeing in this series are top drivers just about anywhere else you go. And I'm sitting here telling you that this is just the B group. Yeah, we caught that on there. The 7 just drove it in.
Out of the way, the 10 will try to capitalize on that as he will take over 2 spots. A 2-for-1 give me for that little move.
Well, I will say this right now. You mentioned it really well, Teddy. We're talking about how Hamilton got a good stage 2, and, he's back here. And, he's near Old Guy, Tackleberry, Just Ken, and Memory. I feel so bad for the guy. He had one of the fastest cars in stage 2. We saw he took probably 2 tires on that last, under the, not really the end of the stage break, but coming to the closing laps of stage 2, and he is, it just hurts to see him from being inside the top 2 to like far in the group. So I mean, you are basically, some guys have good days, some don't. I mean, some guys like tracks.
Yeah, listen, I'm not counting that 18 machine out. Sorry to cut you off, Jacob. While we're talking about Hamilton real quick, I'm not going to cut him off simply because, I'm not going to count him out simply because we've seen this in both stages where he's ridden around in the back, but been there at the end of the stages. Go ahead, Jacob. Up to you with the front pack.
The 88 has gotten a tough break here from the lead of this front pack to the tail end of it. Him and the 4 here, as the 21 has now caught up to it and is now riding 4th. Strong performance out of him, as I was getting a little bit worried he was going to get caught up by that secondary pack. 96 is your race leader, and then to come in on Nick, the 24 now trying to make a pass. He won't complete it as Higgy rides 3rd. Great drive out of that 34 and that 21 car to come up here to this lead pack.
Oh, most definitely. And, like you said, really good run for both of them. And, you saw T-Bird up here a little earlier, but you mentioned really just a good point out. You see the 24 and 34 and that 21, I think I covered it really well last week is the 21, along the sauce, he probably had a good mentor of Private Patton because, Private Patton drove this car last season, well, not really, I don't think it beat, but he drove the 21, and Private Patton probably sat him down, taught him how to run the tracks, as he loses 2, maybe 3 spots now. What in the world? But, Private Patton was teaching him how to run certain tracks, and you have to have a good mentor, Some guys have those type of guys.
Yeah, and Kentucky is a lot of tracks on Heat 5 game, potentially 1.5 lines of racing, so it's very hard to make passes. It's very easy to make mistakes, so as long as you can get your racing line in your head and know when your let off and your gas points are, Kentucky can be a very strong track or it can be one of your worst.
Almost definitely.
As a 21 now,
trouble, old guy, something happened. Old Guy and the 7.
Yeah, that's going to put us under caution flag here as the race leaders were going nuts there. Really good action side by side up front. We missed what happened with the 1 and the 7 machine, but those guys, man, I talked about how the 1 was having a great night. He tends to run apparently a little looser of a slider and has a rough time on the long run. I thought he was doing a great job tonight, and honestly, lucky for him, a lot of times when you only have 1 to 2 cars, a little incident like that happens, no caution comes out, but the 1 and the 7 for these guys and where they were running, basically the caution is going to put them right back where they were towards the end of the pack and be able to fight their way back up into the top 10. As again, only 16 started, 15 remain here. Double points night at Kentucky in the B Slider group. This is going to be pretty fun, and this is going to put us pretty close to our fuel mileage.
As the pace truck is in and these cars are about to take off, tough break up here for your top 6 as they have created a few second gap as the 10 will start inside, see if he can capitalize on this caution.
And you know, right now I will say this, I don't think we cover this, but some guys are on controllers, some guys are on wheels, and you know, some guys prefer to use their wheels, some prefer to use their controllers. You know, it's their own opinion.
Yeah, so real quick, I just want to throw that out there as we now rack them and stack them. There is 32 laps remaining in this race, and the drivers have 31 laps in the tank. So are you going to save a lap? Are your tires going to be able to hold it up? Will we see another caution? Time will tell, but I'm expecting to see some of these drivers go down pit road if it stays green, and some of the drivers try to stretch it out, as one lap's not too hard to save on fuel, but tires is crazy.
Here. Three wide. Was 3 wide for second place with the number 4, the 88. And another one that slips my mind is the 88 will try to make a pass here for the lead. 3 wide for your lead. 24 or 96.
Get it. Battle for
88. 88 will make it stick. He is now your race leader once again. As the 24 will follow, the 21 will follow them. The 4 making a good move with that, as they're still battling for second place. 2 wide, 21 entering the 24s inside. He will make it stick. Maybe still side by side, 2 by 2 by 2 here. Great battle going on here for your lead.
You mentioned really well that was, I guess you said, I can see a little more lag off the 10 of memory. I saw a bit lag right there. He just went side to side, and right now, I think if you go 3 wide, that is not your best bet right now. And boy, the 96 has dropped way back. And boy, I think I had the commentators jinx right now as I see Hamilton's getting back up. You mentioned really well. Good recovery.
Yeah, listen, I actually, right now is the time, if you're going to make these 3 wide moves and these restarts, you got to do it now. We've seen it all too often tonight that as the field starts racing these green flag laps, about 10 laps in or so, that kind of start separating. You get a 3-4 pack up front, you get a 5-6 car pack in the middle, and everybody else falls to the rear, right?
So, battle for the lead there, Teddy.
Yeah, you got to make these 3 wide moves
3
right
wide
now.
Here, middle of the pack. As the 7 is taking the inside of the 0, 6 don't take the inside of them.
Almost 4 wide.
Brinkerhoff's going to pull out victorious, maybe, as they're still swapping it up here. Crossovers all over the place. 7 is going to push him up the track a little bit, as the 1 and the 6 will still take the bottom.
Yeah, and I talked about earlier,
Great
friendships make your race, right? The 21 and the 4 and the 34 are the guys that I talked about as 3 pretty good friends up front. Up front right now, I'm seeing the 4 and the 21, P1 and P2. No love lost there, actually, as the 4 goes to the inside of the 21 of Sauce, decides he wants the race lead. But now here comes the 34 of Higgy, as well as the 24 of Spenker, looking for P2 as they're racing hard with Long Live the Sauce. Fire Slayer hoping they keep it going, and he's really hoping that they keep 2-3 wide abreast in front of that 88, so the 88 can't go anywhere.
Yeah, just smooth and in control for that number 4 car. Is the draft will make a big factor on him, as he needs to just hug that bottom as tight as he can right now and just let them battle it out behind him.
I'm really intrigued that these guys aren't lining up on the outside. There's so much more speed to be had, and so I've run a lot of league races here where I'm trying to run the inside, and if you can get 2 to 3 cars running the outside while you're the sole guy on the inside, you don't have a chance. It's really, you were talking earlier about 1, maybe 1.5 grooves on the track. That is not so to me here at Kentucky. I've been in some of my best slider racing at Kentucky where there's 3 to 4 grooves on the track. It all depends on where the draft is which side will be stronger. You know, if you can get 2-3 guys lined up on the outside, you can go somewhere. These guys are all only putting 1 guy out there, so that's why we're not seeing long battles, you know, between 2 cars, is the draft's just not there for them right now.
Yeah, I do agree. You do need to follow that draft wherever you are, whatever track that you are in, even down to Martinsville. The draft can play a factor. As they are tightening back up here at your top in your for your lead. Fire Slayer not liking it. 24 closing the gap on him, followed by the 88 and the 21 making up your top 4.
You mentioned really well, and here comes the 24. He's trying to make that move on the inside. I don't think, your best bet is having someone behind you, as you see. Here we go. Maybe battle for the lead. Who's going to get it at the line? 24, Spaker.
New race leader once again. Put it in the book. As the 21 will challenge now, to put another check mark in that book.
Here comes Hickey as well.
Wow, great drive here by this 21 and this 34 car. Great racing IQ. As the 88 will cut the 34 off to dive down, take third away.
Yeah, let's be honest, this is great battling by all these drivers. Every single one of these drivers that's been in this lead pack, we've seen them here all night long, and they have not disappointed on great action tonight. The 21, Long Live the Sauce, has gone through some heartaches tonight, but he's trying to hold off. P2, the most dominant car of the night, that 88, probably your dad, has help from his buddy Spanker in the 24. That's why they're both in Hendrick Chevrolets. Higgy finally able to get up into the top 5. We've seen him right on the verge of losing the draft all night long. He's running in 4th. Hamilton, P2 in stage 2, so you know that 18 Toyota, the only Toyota, oh no, the 96 up there, so apologies on that, but the 2 Toyotas working together right there in 5th and 6th place, so those 2 cars, they've been up front all night. Fire Slayer and Memory having lag issues, has chose to fall to the rear, but Fire Slayer, we know he wants to get up there and lead this race, so any of these drivers in this lead pack could win, and there's a whole bunch of them right there battling it out right now for the race lead that the number 88 currently holds of Probably Your Dad.
And I just want... Go ahead there, Jacob.
And the number 7 of Tackleberry looks like he is out for the night. We don't know what happened to him. We were talking about him highly earlier, trying to pick up a top 5 here, but it looks like he will be the second car taking it to the garage tonight.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. You mentioned it really was running inside the top 10, and then you mentioned it had that issue, and boy, you just hate that. That has to be a bad feeling in your stomach. You're like, oh, I had a good chance in the top 10, and then there goes your motor.
As your top 6 or 7 here are breaking away again. Still side to side 1-2 battles going on. Great racing up here. As the 18 of Hamilton is looking inside here, the 24 not going to get it.
Yeah, I want to point out something
here, still battling hard, trying to get back up to the lead.
I want to point something else out here. As the 7 now, the 41, those guys are on pit road, right? So there's 16 cars. I know both of them probably backed out because of frustrations, right? The 7 was just in the last caution. You had the 41 ended up wrecking earlier. He even wrote me and told me he was backed out because of frustration. What's so huge about that is these guys are trying to make it into the A group, right? This is double points night. You just backed out on double points night. Another caution comes out. No matter what hardship you had earlier, you could have picked up another position or 2, right? Secondary to that, when you make the A group, that becomes team-based racing where you do get drafted to be in the A group, right? Jacob, you're on a team. I own a team. Nick, he wants to be on a team. All these drivers want to get drafted by one of the top teams, and I'm going to be honest, as a captain myself, you don't really show interest in somebody that's going to be backing out of the most important. There's only 2 double points races out of 12 for these guys, and they backed out of one of them. That's not good odds for those drivers.
Well, I do agree, and to add on that, those drivers in particular, they're top 10 runners, top 15 runners, and they are ecstatic whenever they can pick up a top 5, and it's just... They just get, really frustrated, and I've been there, I've backed out of plenty of races in my time. And it's just whenever your skin just gets on fire, it's time for you to go because some bad decisions are going to start happening and you're going to start making more enemies than you make friends. And that's just never a good thing here to do in the sport of racing.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with what you're saying, right? What you're saying is spot on. It's much better to back out than like Butters. He told me he was angry. He was going to do something bad, so he backed out of the race, right? That's logical. That's smart. Better take the loss here than get suspended or something next week. But on a double point night, you really got to have that in your head that it's going to be more aggressive, right? You got to know you're going to be frustrated at some point, and you just got to work through it. As by simply backing out of this race, both those drivers may have cost themselves their opportunity to make the A group already, and we're only race 2 in.
Well, and you kind of mentioned it really much, Taddy. Last night in C group at Michigan, I had some issues. I was like, I'm getting not in a good mood because everyone, or not really in a good mood, but like everyone was wrecking, and the thing is, there's no cautions in C, and C sliders, and we had so many wrecks, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna finish it because I don't want to give up. I don't care if it's a bad finish, it's a bad finish. I still have long ways to go. It's just the first race, And this, you mentioned double points. I mean, it's not good to back out for a double points race. It's not.
Now that's unfortunate for those guys.
Talking about points, the 18 is loving his status right here as he is continuing to stretch his lead as they're battling back here for second. So if the 18 can hold up here for this last 20 so laps, he will create a great point advantage as they are maybe taking it 3 wide here for second. Let me go over here, John. There's a 96, I believe that's the 96, is back up to second. So good drive by T-Bird. Let's see if he can bring some power to catch your leader. As Fire Slayer is following the 88, two contenders here early on in the race, but they may have made some setup issues, and they are not having it right now.
Yeah, so I got to tell you real quick, right? So there's 12 laps remaining in this race, and because the pace is slowed down, remember I was talking about how everyone was about 1 lap short? Now they're about half a track short. So who's been in the draft saving and who's been going wide open longer? Who can make it and who can't? 12 laps to go. They're coming to 11 laps to go this time. Everybody's still on save mode. Now you do see the 18 with a big lead. We haven't seen him personally do this all night. So is the only reason he has the big lead because he's the only one with his foot on the gas, or has he already saved enough in the draft and decided to step on it now and get that separation as we're getting ready to come to 10 laps to go this time by?
As someone early on, number 4 had dropped back to that lead pack early on and was kind of, in my eye, saving some fuel. So if the number 4 saved enough, he might be pressing that gas pedal really dang hard right now to try to get back up to him.
Yeah, he knows really well, as you know. That 18 was in the back the most of the race, and then stage 2 got a second place. Good job for him, and as you mentioned really well, I mean, if you saved enough, you're good to go. If you're not, then how much did you save? Do you need to save another? It's like Charlotte. It's like other tracks we go to, It's a saving race, and, I personally cannot save fuel at any track whatsoever unless I'm in a plate race, But some guys, if you find the draft and you can be in the draft, you can save like a lap or so. So that's the good thing,
Yeah.
Speed wins races, strategy wins more, and ultimately your pit crew wins the most. So we're going to see if that pit crew can come into fruition here as they're getting ready, in my eyes, to do some green flag pit stops here pretty soon.
Man, I don't know. I really think that every one of these drivers, the race is going to be won by somebody that does not come to pit road, right? The 18, I talked about him getting that big lead, but then as we're talking about how we're hitting the 10 mark to go, the 96 now pulling away from that pack, he's catching the 18. The rest of the pack in general, even though they're still racing, they're catching the 18. I don't know if maybe Hamilton was listening to the broadcast and just barely dawned on him that he was so close on fuel and he's backing it down or what, but to me it looks like that whole second group is starting to catch that 18 machine, and the one driver that seems to be falling off, however, is Long Live the Sauce. I don't know if maybe setup went awry to him here late in the run, or he's now realizing, crap, I'm a half a lap short.
Yeah, I think he might have realized, Taddy, he's short, because we've all been there as well. Whenever you get up mixing it up for 10 or so laps, you forget how hard you press that gas pedal.
Oh,
and in a saving race, that could make you or break you,
Yeah, I don't know, but right now the fastest car on the track is that 96. T-Bird is coming for that 18 Toyota. Funny thing, the fact that there's 2 Toyotas in the race and they're both sitting P1 and P2, but it looks like the 18's saving and the 96 is on the gas hard.
I don't know, Taddy. That 18 is still pulling away from this pack, regardless of the 96. 96 is catching, but I think he's catching just on pure speed. As maybe this.
Oh, so much around.
Yeah, I just heard carnage.
14 around.
Right in front of the race stretch leader. Oof. That's a pucker moment.
Now let me ask you this, guys.
Wait, hold on. 5 laps to go at the line here. Go ahead.
Well, I was about to say, boy, if you were the 18 of Hamilton, and if he had came back on the track and just took you out, boy, that would have messed your race up. But you mentioned really well. It's coming to 4 laps to go. You know, it's the best way to make it is just to save. But I mean, do you think these guys are going to run out coming to the line, or do you think they're going to stumble coming with 1 to go?
We will see as the 96 is closing the gap fast. If he can pick up a little bit of slipstream off the back of this 18 car, he'll be right up there with them. Although that will burn just a fuzz more fuel, you know. But I think at this point, these drivers are either going to press his gas pedal as hard as they can here coming to 3 to go, or they're going to run out and just hope for the best. As the 18,
I don't think it matters anymore.
dominant.
I don't think it matters if you're short on gas or if you have enough gas. If you're half a lap short at this point, it doesn't matter. You got to stay out. You can't pit. I think it's pretty clear that nobody plans on pitting the way that the pace has picked up here in the last few laps. And if you're going to be a half lap short, you might as well just let her eat right now and run out at half lap. That'll hit 0. You'll actually run out and start sputtering in the middle of 3 and 4 and try to coast to the end. But right now, you just got to go with it. They're coming to, or that was 3 laps to go this time, so they're coming to 2 to go here this time, and the 96 I do believe will be there by the final lap, but is he going to be able to get around the 18 is a completely different story. And does the 18 run out in front of the 96, and if so, is the 96 able to avoid it when it does happen?
Well, he's run out of time here, Taddy, but he has some speed. 18's going to drift up just a little bit high here. The 96 is going to take it slow. He's going to pick up some speed coming off this turn. If he can catch this draft, he will be in good contention in turn 3.
Yeah, that's why I said I think he'll be there. He should be sniffing that draft now. They're getting ready to take the white flag. Can the 96 catch the 18? Will they both run out and give the race lead to the 24, who's now past Higgy for 3rd place? Only time will tell. We have 4 more corners, and we will declare a race winner here. Right now, Hamilton leads the 96 at T-Bird. Hamilton trying to get his first victory of the season and show that he's a dominant force here in the B-Slider group. They're coming off of turn 2, going down the backstretch. 96 still trying to catch in the draft. As long as the 18 has enough fuel, this is his race to lose right now. 96 at T-Bird's going to dive it in there. They're both going to pin it to the yellow line. 18 coming off of turn 4. Your race winner will be the 18 M&M's Toyota. No, he's out of fuel. He runs out.
Ran out of gas. The 18
T-Bird got second. T-Bird did not win. The 18 still won the race. Hamilton still won the race. Out of fuel.
18 with a great drive, running out of fuel, coming off of turn 4 and coasting it across the line with T-Bird just tenths of seconds, thousands of seconds behind him there at the line. Great finish there.
So the final race time was a 69.01, 8:43 for Hamilton, and an 8:67 for T-Bird. That's how close that was.
What a great attempt there for T-Bird. What a great drive. If he would have had a little bit more speed there, he would have taken your race lead, but the 18 of Hamilton will come out victorious.
Yeah, Fireslayer, I don't know if you're listening to the stream or not, but when it goes to official results, please make sure to scroll through and get all drivers on the stream, please.
Now, I will say, two weeks in a row, we've had crazy finishes. One at California, we've had a crazy one here tonight.
So I do believe your top 3 would be the 18 of Memory, 96 of T-Bird, and the 24 of someone who escapes my mind right now.
Spenker's the 24. What were you saying?
That would be your top 3.
No, Higgy got 3rd.
Oh, Higgy came with 3rd.
Yeah,
wow,
Spenker ran out and got 5th. Fireslayer actually ended up in the 4th position. So, the 24 run out of fuel.
What a drive by Higgy to take 3rd.
What a race.
Great action all race long. There at the end, still saving race, but great action.
I'm going to go ahead and try to get these guys invited.
Great competitiveness through all of our drivers there.
Fastest lap goes to Memory.
Man, that's almost a custom setup time.
That looks like it, yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to get these guys invited.
No worries.
few people upset with each other in the chat there that, of course, we get to deal with. We have one person that has joined the chat. There's the second one.
We just need third place.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get this started. Let me find the car on stream so you guys can see the driver, or at least the car. But second place finish, T-Bird, you got your voice set to always loud?
Yes, sir.
Dude, that was a very close finish. 2/100ths of a second off of the race win. You had him. You're reeling him in quick. You ran out of time. He ran out of fuel. 2/100ths of a second, man. Go through those last couple laps.
It's like, so the gap was originally like 1 second, and like the last 15 laps, I was slowly just like dropping it down like 10 by 10 to the point where it's like 3 to go. We're dropped down to right about draft range, but I messed up a couple corners in the last couple laps. I mean, we're 30 laps into a run. You can't expect the car to act perfectly like it did on lap 1, but it's almost like a thing. It was like if any of the past like 20 or 30 something laps was slightly faster, that race would have ended differently. It's literally just like one of those things where you really can't tell how close out, like where you should have had it. But good props to him. Great job. He did a great job getting literally like just enough. And getting out to a solid lead while I had to make my way through the field still. And yeah, he just executed when it came to time. Jesus Christ, calm down.
All right, man, listen, on my end, I'm going to say congratulations. I'm going to shoot it over, right? So there's 3 broadcasters tonight, so I'm going to try to get each one to ask a question or get a response from you. Nick, over to you. Do you have anything to ask or say to T-Bird?
Nah, but I will say, man, you had a great car. I will say that was the most. I mean, from what we saw, we were like, oh well, Hamilton was running out. We were like, oh well, here goes T-Bird, he wins. But then Tyler's like, nope, he got a good job on the second place, bud.
Thanks, man.
And over to you, Jacob. You got anything for T-Bird?
Yeah, man. Congratulations, man. Great job in my eyes. You were a top 3 car all night. There, once you started pulling away from that secondary pack towards the end of the race, kind of what was going through your mind those last few laps, try to catch up to the 18? Just hit your lines perfect. Were you just thinking, just hit your lines perfect? Is he going to run out of fuel? Am I going to run out of fuel? Kind of what was your strategy there?
Well, I was sitting behind him in the pack when me and him were saving fuel. So I thought when he went, it was like, all right, he's good. So I wasn't thinking about fuel, especially at the end. I was just thinking about, all right, I need to hit all these lines like absolutely goddamn perfect.
Well, congratulations again, T-Bird. Great drive from you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, T-Bird. You ran a hell of a race. You were up front all night, and you were mere inches away from winning that race. So congratulations, man. Gonna go now to third place finisher, Higgy WX in the number 34 Ford Mustang. Man, front row, they're probably gonna reach out to you and try to actually get you to start racing for them, man. Great job. We seen you go through a hardship. You were running in the back most of the race. Stage 1, you lost the lead pack. You were the only one seemed to be able to try to catch them. Stage 2, again, you were running up front, but then you ended up, a little bit further back. Stage 3. A lot of people started counting you out. You were one of the most voted on people to win this race, and coming home with a podium finish, you have to be happy with that.
Yeah, man, that race was probably one of the most fun races I've been a part of. I mean, the battling was crazy intense, top 10 throughout the whole race. So, just, unlucky clips from, right rear of some cars and on my left front, sending me up the track. Just simple things like that, but can't get mad about it. So just kept working on the car and kept my patience and just tried to hit my lines and go with it.
All right, Nick, you got anything for our third place finisher here?
I actually do. You were actually someone's pick, but not for the win though. You had Mr. Billy Martin to have. You had a supporter of him. He was like, I asked in my chat, I was like, "Who you got?" And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go for Higgy, but Billy, if you're gonna watch this later, Mr. Higgy got third, and I will say you were kind of one of my picks too, bud. You were fine. I was like, well, you just gotta find a way to get around those guys. But honestly, that was a good run and a good third place, my friend.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Shout out to Billy for supporting me. Yeah, Kentucky's one of those races where you just got to be super patient with the car. Any turn 2 is super tricky. Turn 3 and 4, you can be really tight. So it's just, making sure you don't try to be too aggressive up underneath some cars because that can cause you some spots and stuff like that. So, but yeah.
All right, going over to you, Jacob. I feel like you might have something to say to Higgy here, but over to you on the interview.
Yeah, man, good job, buddy. I was pulling from you from start to finish. From the drop of the green flag, we were talking about the situation on turn 2 about the drivers towards the end of the race that are going to be up front are going to be the ones that have the patience and have the setup to master turn 2. At one point, it looked like your car wasn't there as you're running towards the back of the pack. You knew that you had to get towards the front. Kind of what was your thoughts to make it back up there?
Yeah, I ran a little bit of a tighter slider. I had to get my setup in. Previous races I've raced at Kentucky have just been horrible. So it was just a lot of just testing and trying things for this race. And I found one that I really liked, especially in the long run. When those tires start getting below 50, those cars get really loose out of turn 2 in Kentucky. So I was able to gain some speed on the guys there at the end, and I was trying to get the T-Bird and Hamilton, but they were just too far away. And then Spinker ran out of 4, so if he didn't run out, he would have had me. But yeah, I was just super patient, just trying to hit my lines and try and catch those guys. But man, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, it was great seeing you drop tonight, man, and congratulations on your third place victory, or your third place finish, rather.
Yeah, appreciate it, Jacob.
Yeah, Higgy, final remarks with you. I gotta say, we haven't really talked about you a lot. Tonight you started getting a little bit more. We were talking about you in the booth, about how your struggles and then you moving up front. But for a guy that the broadcast team doesn't talk about very much, you seem to get in a big following as far as fans here at GC Sports. And so I don't know what you're doing right, but I'm going to have to try it. Great job, man, and being able to talk to you after one of these races is always a blast. And you guys, not just the top 3, but the whole, like you said, top 10, the whole field tonight put on one heck of a show at Kentucky. So third place finish is no joke. It's definitely something to be proud of, and good job tonight, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Just want to give a shout out to everybody that was in the top 10. I mean, we all had fast cars, and anybody there at the end could have got it. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was your third place finisher, number 34, Higgy WX. With that said, we're now going to go to your race winner, this ugly white 18 M&M's Toyota Camry of Hamilton. You got your voice on always loud, bud?
Yes, sir.
That's unfortunate. Now everyone gets to hear you talk. So, first place, you run out of fuel. You literally won by an inch, maybe 2 inches at most. Did you think you lost it, or were you just like screaming, hoping that you crossed the line first?
More of the latter. I was more screaming. Yeah, the whole last stage was all about saving fuel, and we were all in a line doing it just like you would at Talladega or something. And as soon as my number was the same, I said, you know what, I'm just going to go. If I run out, I run out. Maybe I'll have a big enough lead, and I'll still be able to win even if I do. And that's pretty much what happened. Even when I got out in front, once I got a comfortable lead, I was still, waiting on the gas, waiting to push the gas that extra second through 3 and 4. And it paid off, I guess.
All right, man. I mean, on my end, that was phenomenal. I actually kept saying I really liked what you were doing, and you tend to be one of those drivers that through stage 1, you run in the back. Stage two, you start working your way towards the front, and you put yourself in a position by finishing P2 in stage two. And then I said, you just can't count him out. He usually runs those strategies that you are one of the guys that no matter where we're at here in this group, you're always going to be up front when it matters. And double points night, Kentucky, 18 car, first place, Hamilton. Congratulations. Nick, you got anything for him?
Yeah, I was, Aquatay really mentioned it well. I mean, you got second in stage two, and, I felt bad when you were towards the back. I was like, uh-oh, he's got some issues. He's dropping back like a rock. Was that your plan to fall back and then work your way up back to the front?
Yeah, my car was set up for stage two specifically to not take tires because it's only a few laps to the end of the stage after the pit stop, and I was able to do that, and the 88 was too. I was hoping that nobody else would, and I would get the stage win and another playoff point, but a second in stage points with double points still helps a lot. But yeah, that's what my car was set up for, was being able to last the whole stage.
Right. And I will say I did have the commentators jinx. I was like, well, he's not in contention, but then you fought your way back, and you kind of got me worried, but congrats on the win, my man.
Yeah, you should say that more often.
Well, I'm not going to be that mean, so.
Gonna send it over to you, Jacob. You got anything for our race winner here tonight?
Yeah, man, good job. Great strategy there for stage two to pick up the second place, especially like you said on double points night of all nights. There at the end, I know that you were getting the sweaty palms there as the 96 was catching you, and I think crossing the checkered flag, I might have seen the net come down and you try to come out to Ricky Bobby to cross the line, but you really just didn't have to as you picked up the photo finish over that 96 car. So how does it feel, to pick up that victory and to have a pretty much dominant car there in stage three?
Yeah, I don't know that I had the dominant car, but I was just able to exploit the strategy, I guess, the best. But all in all, it still feels really good to get the win out of the way early in the season and not really have to worry about it.
Yeah, well, congratulations, man. And like you said, you're getting that point, and double points night is the best night to get it.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. So you know the deal. You won the race. That means you're eligible to race tomorrow night in the A group. Of course, they're not at Kentucky. They're headed to Michigan tomorrow night. But just get a hold of me if you're wanting to do that. Other than that, congratulations on your victory. To go with what you were saying about the double points, that also means double playoff points as well. So this race victory does not give you the 3 playoff points that you get for a race win. You get 6 playoff points. So that is huge in your opportunity of making it to the Final Four this season. So again, man, I can't say it enough, but congratulations. And to the viewers at home, that's your race winner, Hamilton, in the 18. Now, that's going to do it here for us tonight in the B Slider group at Kentucky. I'm your broadcaster and CEO. This is Aquatati. We have in the booth with me, I had Nick, and as well as we had Jacob. Thanks for joining me. Tune in tomorrow night, the A Sliders at Michigan. They will be going green at 8:05. The broadcast should be up around 8 o'clock, so tune in for that. Other than that, good night, and see you tomorrow.